Welcome to Soto Creations, where we make your imagination a reality. Thank you for tuning in once a day for another fun video. Today I'm starting out by assembling my black shimmer wall. So I have not used this before, that's why you see me pulling each of the squares out of their individual packages. When I do take them out of these plastic wraps, I don't end up putting them back in it, so I just put it back in the same box but without the wrap. I just stack them on top of each other and it works fine for me. So I have my first row assembled. I'm showing you the zip ties it comes with that I don't use because they're not long enough to go around my crossbar. I use these really long zip ties which work a lot better for me. Before we put the zip ties on, I want to always remember to tie my 260Q balloons that I'll use to attach the balloons onto the backdrop. The reason I say that is because you can attach these two methods. I always make sure that my crossbar is on top of the backdrop of the shimmer wall so that when I do put it on, you don't see the crossbar. The second option is you can hang it in such a way that the shimmer wall is hanging below this crossbar. So whichever one you prefer. I just like this because it's easier for me to hide the crossbar when I'm decorating, and the balloons, when you look at towards the top, there's less of a gap showing between your shimmer wall and the top of your balloon, or where your balloon starts. So I have that piece, I'm connecting that over, it's pointing backwards, so I'm making some adjustments where the zip ties are attached so that it's straight when I start to hang all my other panels. I really love these shimmer walls. You can do so much with them and they just elevate the design that you create. So I have a silver one that I used in one of the tutorials for Sabi's birthday, and I created a video as well to explain my review of this shimmer wall and how you use it, how you attach it. So I'll link that video down below, and I'll link the 10th birthday that we did for Sabi. I also have a rose gold shimmer wall, and I plan to add some more to the inventory. The rose gold I used for a graduation party, and that was a lot of fun. So I hope you'll check those videos out. Each of the boxes, one box comes with about, well, it comes with 24 pieces. So each piece is 12 by 12 inches. And I give you these dimensions so that when you do have your event, you know how many pieces you want to get so that you get the size wall that you would like to create. So Olivia is having fun jumping on the boxes. Thank God they're sturdy, but she's going back and forth while we're assembling this wall. Well, the reason I decided to design this is because of Father's Day. Now, I could not think of a better opportunity for me to use this black shimmer wall. I just thought it would be perfect for this. At this point, I'm still thinking of the color scheme that I'm going for. I know I want a plain backdrop, but I also want that black to stand out in the whole design. So I'm gonna work with some balloon rope, so stay tuned for that. But we're just going to attach this, and I'll also show you a close-up of how I connect all these pieces together so that when you get yours, you're able to attach them. They're very easy to work with, and I like that the panels are also lightweight, so it helps a lot with transporting and also putting it together. They would feel delicate, but they work really well. I've used some of them a couple of times and I haven't had any issues with them. Of course, Oliver is seeing himself in the camera and he wants to be a part. So it's funny how I watch the videos of them from a while back and see just how much they're growing. So the back, what is assembled so far is one box, which is, like I said, is 24 pieces. I had to open a second box to get the rest of the pieces that I need to complete this look. So I have, I believe it's I have 6 going across and about 8 coming downwards. So that creates this backdrop for me, and that's about how many I use. I just want to show you a close-up here. You see one side has a hole, and this is a hole, and the other side has that peg. So you fit the peg on the hole and just press it through, same way the hole would fit on the peg, and you press that through, and you just do the same. It's the same on all sides, so you just kind of press that through and it keeps it in place. I have not had any issues with it popping out. When you're actually trying to take them out, they're a little hard to pull out. They do come apart, but you have to actually use both hands to really get them apart. So I just wanted you to see a close-up and how, even though it's sped up, how fast it is to assemble. So now I'm attaching my 260 Qs onto my uprights. Again, remember I have 2 of the 260 Qs behind the top of that shimmer wall along the crossbar. So I'm attaching 3 more 260 Qs on the upright so that I have something to hold the balloons in place when I do start to inflate my balloons. So I started out with this color and I end up not liking how it's going to look because I just thought it would be too bright for Father's Day. So I changed my mind and I'm going to use this baby blue color from Qualitex. I like how it ended up turning. I'm glad I changed it. So I'm inflating those. Of course, you've seen me, Daniel has been trying to practice all these magic tricks and he keeps coming to show me. You've seen me inflate these balloons before. So I'm creating clusters of 6 balloons with 11 inches and 17-inch balloons. Of course, the cluster has just one 17-inch balloon and the rest of them are 11 inches. So I'm making sure that my balloons are not oval shaped. I'm trying to inflate them first oval shape and then I compress them, as you can see, to get a rounded look. And as you're compressing, you're letting the air out so that you get a rounded look, because I'm going for an organic look of balloons and you don't want those oval egg-shaped balloons. So I'm creating all these clusters with each one, and they're pretty hefty size clusters, I would say that, with the 6. Sometimes if I don't want my garland to be as thick around, I just do clusters of 4 and attach them that way. I actually have, or make the balloons a little smaller, and I have a tutorial coming up just to show you guys, because I have an event that came up while I was planning all this, and it was for a hallway, so I had to create the design in such a way that people could still get through once the arch goes around. So I'm compressing, creating all my clusters, and then we'll assemble. I actually have quite a few clusters. Some people have asked in the past how many clusters it takes to create the look that I've had in the past with the rose gold shimmer wall, and this one took about 17 clusters. So 17 clusters of 6 balloons, which is about 102 balloons. So I hope that helps you when you're planning, but make sure you keep in mind that in the cluster I have one 17-inch for each of the clusters. I'm just finishing up all the prep work, trying to make sure that all the balloons are inflated. At this point, I'm not sure exactly how many I need. I'm just kind of eyeballing and inflating as many because I want my garland to go all around that shimmer wall. This is for pictures for Father's Day, for the family. So I'm just making sure that I get all that covered, and the tutorial is good for you guys to be able to replicate the same thing. So I'll keep inflating, and then I'll catch up with you guys when it's time to inflate or to assemble the full garland. Okay, we have our first cluster, number 2, 3. I'm just counting with you so you can see 4, how it all pulls together, and that's number 5. Some people have asked in the past how I connect my clusters. That is 6. I use the necks of the balloons, 7, to attach them together, and that's number 8. It's easier for me, it's faster, and I make adjustments just so the garland is straight. You just kind of twist things around. Here I decide to attach that first 8 clusters to the top. That way I can then add the balloons to the side as I need, because I don't want it to be too long if I had to attach the full thing. So I have the 260 Qs that I attach. I'm just wrapping them kind of a figure 8 around each cluster so that I'm adjusting so you can see what I'm doing. But I'm attaching, that's 9 right there, and I'm twisting it around so that it starts coming downwards for the balloon garland. So again, you're wrapping that 260Q between 2 separate balloons so that it actually holds it well and stays in place. So this would be 10 and 11 and 12 and 13 clusters, and I'm going to attach those on the left side. So again, I'm using the necks. I'm pulling the necks of the 11 inches because they're a lot stretchier than the 17 inches, and attaching it that way so that it stays in place. Another thing, I don't attach my very last 260Q at the bottom there. That's number 14 right there. So I don't attach my very bottom 260Q to the very end till I'm happy with how the whole thing looks. Then I attach, and this is 15 and 16, 17 and 18 right there. It's actually 18. I might have counted wrong earlier when I was editing the video. So it's between 17 and 18 clusters. So I'm attaching all that right there in the middle. Again, the bottom 260Q I'm not going to attach because I want to make sure everything is straightened out. I've always said in my tutorials, make sure you step back when you're designing. I have to go set up another event. When I get back, then I'll do this one. So see you guys soon. I'm excited for how it will turn out. See what, well, you probably already saw the thumbnail, but I'll do a separate tutorial on how I create the ropes, the balloon ropes, so that the video is not too long. But I hope you're enjoying it so far. I love it. Excited to see how the pictures turn out with the kids. So see you guys soon. Stay longer I'm gonna finish the base, and then tomorrow I'll put everything together so that you can see the final look. Another thing is I'll do a separate video to show you how I put the ropes together, because I just think it will be easier for me to really explain the process for you to learn it where it's like me talking directly while I do it. So I hope you like my tutorial so far. I'll finish the ends, straighten up the balloons, and then I'll meet you guys later on. One of the squares from the shimmer wall fell off, so I'm going to use this opportunity to show you guys how I attach them back to the backdrop. So you have the squares and they come with a pin. Now if you lose a square, the box comes with extra squares if you can't find them. So I just attach this pin onto that square, put it through and find where it came off and just fit that in and push it. Sometimes it's a little hard for it to go through, but we just have to push hard and then it fits perfectly fine. And that's how you fix the shimmer walls that have the gaps. So just thought that would be a helpful tip for you guys. I decided to inflate some clusters as fillers for the backdrop, but I ended up not using them, but I did have to make quite a few, so I'll use it for another tutorial. Now I'm going to create my ropes that I'm going to use to enhance the look of this backdrop. I decided to save this tutorial for another video just so this doesn't extend too far, but I'll explain in detail how I do this in the next video coming up later this week. I think it'll be helpful for me to take the time to really show you how I design these balloon ropes. They've gotten a lot of popularity lately and trended quite a bit, but I decide here to use 2 colors for one and the all black for the other one, and I think it adds a really nice edge or dimension to the full decor. In total, this is the longer black one. I have 3. 1, 2, actually, wait, yeah, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. I was short on that. I'll tuck it towards the back so that it completes that black. And then I have 3, 1, 2, 3 of the 2 colored ones. So I'm gonna hang that. It was hard for you to see all this on the floor, so I wanted to show you. I also did these as accents, but I'll see if I need them or not, or if this will be enough to just complete the look. So let's get all this attached. We're gonna use rubber bands. All I do is I attach a rubber band to one end, and it doesn't have to be on the very end, depending on where exactly you want the balloon to go and where your 11-inch balloon is. You can't really use the rubber bands on the 17 inches. They end up breaking because it's not stretchy enough to go around the 17 inches. As you can see, I ended up moving that rubber band further towards the middle of that rope so that it would go as though it's coming out of the shimmer wall all the way to the top. So I'm looking at it, seeing if that's how I like it, making adjustments as I go. The single color ropes are a little more forgiving when it comes to how they lay on the garland, because you're not seeing the colors not matching. You'll see what I'm talking about in my other rope when I attach it later on. But right now I'm attaching the bottom. My plan is to somewhat alternate some of the colors and get it going that way. So I'm putting this on the bottom, and then I'll attach an all black one next and just keep that process going. I'm using the rubber bands through this, and I'll show you how I use 260Q and fishing line to attach them on the right side coming up shortly. I believe this is the fishing line. So you want to grab that fishing line and wrap it around the balloon back and forth until it fits where you want it to be. So that's pretty much all you have to do for that. Again, I installed this one not the way I wanted it, because I wanted that blue on the end to be on the right side, not towards the garland, because I still want the black to look as though it's coming from that shimmer wall out. So I'll change that later on in the video. I'm adjusting this one because that big 17-inch balloon just keeps getting in the way of me adjusting that specific rope, and you end up seeing where I try to fix it, but then I end up turning things around and just messing up the whole line of the balloons. You can see me here trying to fix the little issue that I think I've created, and I end up just creating a maze of the balloons. And I have to eventually, because of how OCD I am, or not too OCD, I'm in denial here, I end up taking that whole thing down so I can actually lay it down and adjust it, because it just kept bugging me each time I came back to it, because you're seeing how the black doesn't fully align and the blue doesn't fully align, and it just gets worse as I try to fix it. So I step back, I'm looking at what I did, try to walk away, and I keep coming back to it. So if that's an issue you have, you can just take it down, lay it out, knowing that you crisscross your design and you can fix it that way. I'm just thinking of what else to do different in this case, and I end up definitely first switching this one that I told you about earlier. We're gonna turn that around, use a rubber band, and just fix that in place so that it's coming out of the shimmer wall. So that looks a lot better, and it doesn't look as short as it did with the previous design. On here, I forgot to adjust the camera. I thought it was capturing, but then I end up straightening everything out and just aligning it all over again, and it turned out a lot better than it looked before. So if anything I were to change for this design, probably would have done all the ropes black. I think it would have looked a lot better. If this is your first time tuning in, thank you so much for tuning in. Please consider clicking that subscribe button. It really supports me and keeps this channel going. I really appreciate you very much. I'm adjusting that top one to make sure that it looks as though it's wrapping around the garland and not just going towards the ceiling.
I'm not gonna add these anymore. I think it looks perfect the way it is, because this will just create too much distraction and clutter. So we don't want clutter. So I'm done. I'll show you the final look. I want to show you the gift I wrapped. Isn't that just gorgeous? Look at that. And this tab comes off. You can write a little note. Love it. Happy Father's Day.